Hello, and today I am going to share with you the top 3 mistakes that all corporate women make whilst trying to build a business that actually leaves them feeling stuck, frustrated, and in their jobs much longer. So, my name's Helen Packham. I'm a transformational life and business coach, and I can't wait to share this information with you and I hope that it helps you. It's certainly helped me whilst building my 2 businesses. Um, and I'd love to hear from you to hear what you think. So, the first mistake that I've experienced people making is overpainting the picture. What does that mean? That means putting off launching your business or even just getting yourself out into the public sphere before you've got it all figured out. What I find is ladies don't often feel confident to speak with a potential client until they've got all of their details and all of their services nailed down. It's kind of like working on a piece of art. I don't know if you've ever worked on a piece of art, but you start by sketching it out. Then you add all your base paints in, and then you put your top paints on, and then all the little bits of texturing in between. And you leave it for a bit, and you come back, and you might add a little bit more of blue sky or texture on the grass because you weren't happy with it and didn't want others to see it until it was ready. But before you know it, you've done too much, you've added too much detail, and you've lost sight of the reason why you were painting the picture in the first place, which really was kind of love and joy. And your inspiration has now shifted to something else, and you have to start all over again. So, waiting too long to launch a business for fear of not having everything done is a bit like this. Why is that so important? Why is it so important to not overpaint the picture? Well, if you feel like you need to get lots of things ticked off your list before launching a business, you might be waiting forever. It's a fact that perfection does not exist, because perfection means different things to different people. And so delaying your launch because you haven't got the right logo or social media following or documents and PDFs written is delaying time that you could be spent doing what matters most, which is talking to prospective clients. Also, if you fill out the content of your entire program or package in the smallest detail at the start, you will most likely have to rework it about 2 to 3 times, maybe even 4 times over. Why? Because you won't know what your clients truly want until you start speaking to them. Until the ideas start coming out of your head and in front of others, you won't know if that's what they really need. And thirdly, what doesn't look ready to you might be more than enough, and most likely will be more than enough to someone else. An example of this is my first business. What I did was I opened a blog and a Twitter account the day I signed up for my certification training, which lasted around 7 months from signing up to finishing. My first business, I was a parent coach, and for each module I learned on the program, I wrote a blog about it and I posted it. And I started engaging with people in the industry on Twitter and Facebook and retweeting and saying hi. And then I dropped my blog into conversations and it sparked some interest. And I even had someone ask me to be an expert for a Twitter chat. And this was before I'd even launched. I was by no means an expert. By the time I was ready to leave my corporate job, I had 500 followers and I had bagged 2 paying clients. And this was because I put myself out there way beforehand, before I was ready. Um, so that's just a little example there. But how can you actually begin to solve it? So there's 3 things. First of all, do it enough, but don't overdo it, because you probably only have to do it again. Have an idea and a framework of what you want to help your clients with. Speaking to them and building relationships will help you identify what they truly want. And hey presto, you won't have to rework anything and you'll save yourself a load of time. The second thing, have the right mindset. You only need to be one step ahead of your ideal client to make a difference. You are enough. You may feel at the moment, if you're in the corporate world, like you're a small fish in a big pond. But when you step out on your own, you become a big fish in a small pond. That means that you've got tons and tons and tons of useful information to share with the world. Loads of people who have their own business or are starting out need your special gifts. Believe that you can fly rather than fall. And if you work on your mindset and beliefs, turn them into positive ones. You know, what if you fly instead of fall? Believe that you can fly. Have the right mindset that you can do it, that you do have gifts to offer people. The third thing with overpainting the picture is get yourself out there and see what happens. You can do this in a really simple and safe way. Start a blog. You can do that free with WordPress. Open up a Twitter account. Start following key people. And you can like posts, you can retweet, you can show friendly curiosity to what people are doing. Join some Facebook groups, start commenting, sharing and supporting. Get to know people, just get connected in a natural way. You can put a video out, introduce yourself. This is how you build relationships and you shape your content, ultimately making you the money. You don't have to run, you can just be ahead of the pack so that when you do launch, you already have an audience who know who you are and are eager to listen. The second point is lack of clarity, or what I call the identity slip. And what this means is when you build a business without working through your purpose and your passion and your core values and beliefs. This really resonates with me because when I left my corporate job, I thought I had crystal clear clarity about what it was I was meant to do. And don't get me wrong, at the time, I really was quite clear. I knew that I wanted to help other parents with their children. I was doing the training to help me, and I knew where to find the parents. But here was the problem. I didn't have a clue who I was. That meant I lacked confidence and the belief that I could make it a success. I had loads of self-doubt and was building a business based on what I thought people would want rather than a business based on a rock solid foundation that included my core values, beliefs and principles. Why is this so important? Diving headlong into websites and products is great, but you need to figure out why you are doing it in order for it to fly. Knowing who you are is crucial to building the right business for you. It's crucial to its success. The reason for this is because you will face lots of decisions along the way. It won't be easy, and if you are unclear about your why, your reason for being, then your decisions might become cloudy. This could trip you up when putting yourself out there, when talking to clients, when making decisions about how you up-level your business. Not having that clarity can mean you launch into something that might feel right at the time, but 6 months to a year down the line, you might find it's not right anymore. This can stymie creativity, strategic thinking, and collaboration, and most importantly, this can enable a negative belief about what you're worth. So you're stuck in a money rut with no ability to make the money you deserve, not to mention the other beliefs such as, I don't know anything, or no one will want to work with me, and the result is a business that struggles to get out of the starting blocks. Can so resonate right with that because that is exactly how I felt. But how can you solve it? Well, the first thing you can do is get really clear on your why. The best place to start when preparing to launch your business is to start with your why. There's a great book by Simon Sinek called Start With Why. It's a fantastic prompt for exploring this subject. You can ask yourself questions like, what inspires me? When I'm performing at my best, what does that look like? What are my passions? Why am I here? What am I here to do? And then you can add to this by exploring your core values and beliefs, and this will help to form your purpose. These are really important questions to ask yourself to ensure you're pointing your compass in the right direction. Struggling with your purpose? This quote really resonates with me. If you can't figure out your purpose, figure out your passion, and that will lead you right to your purpose. And that's by Bishop T.D. Jakes. Excuse me. The second thing, in terms of the identity slip, is setting your foundations. Think about the core values that you live your life by, and if you find this difficult, first of all, list all of your needs, what they look like and what they give you. Then translate those needs into values. Examples could be achievement, honesty, courage, fun, laughter, security. And if you come up with about 15, it really helps to also think of desirable values as well. In other words, if anything was possible, what would you desire? And this is a good thing to consider because some old values might keep you stuck. From this list, pick your top core values, the ones that you know have absolutely no negotiation around them. For example, honesty. These core values will form the basis of how you do business, how you make decisions, who you do business with, and how you set stretching and inspirational goals for yourself. If you get these nailed, you will have rock solid confidence in the paths that you take. And the third piece of advice around the identity slip is break through negative beliefs. So important. You can be clear on your why and have your core values nailed, but you might not believe that you can do any of it. That is not helpful when launching a business. I have seen it many, many times with many women, and I was one of them. My beliefs around my self-worth and the ability really held me back in my first business. It wasn't until I went through a personal difficulty that I dived headlong into some self-development and was finally able to flip those nasty negative beliefs on their head. If you have beliefs that don't serve you, grab a journal and ask yourself, is this belief true? How does it feel if it's true? How would you feel if it wasn't true? What else could be true? Go to a different mountaintop to look at your beliefs. Look at your beliefs from a different perspective. Challenge them and smash through them. Working on your mindset is absolutely crucial in order for you to be open to abundance and success. And the last point, the last big mistake that corporate ladies make that keeps them in their jobs much longer and that lets them fail to sort of get out of the starting blocks is doing the solo dance in a crowded ballroom, or basically doing it yourself. Usually when starting a business you have a finite budget to work with, or very little budget at all, and you think that a lot of that budget should be spent on websites and logos and things that make you look presentable to the world. You're suddenly thrown onto an unknown planet where it appears that you have to become a jack of all trades and master of none. And all of a sudden, you must be a website developer, a technical expert, a sales and marketing buff, a bookkeeper, and a killer copywriter. And this can become very overwhelming. But often, there's no budget to call on an expert, so you struggle alone. This delays your launch and your general progress. Doing it yourself might seem like the cheapest thing to do. However, success is still blinking on the horizon and you are stuck on the shore. This is really important because the cold hard truth is you can't be an expert at everything. Although it's important to have a basic understanding of how to set up an opt-in or automate your list or manage multiple social platforms, if you spend too much time and energy on them, you will find that your never-ending to-do list is full of things that might not give you the output you need, which is sales. The most successful business people identify their strengths, make proper use of them, spot the areas where they lack energy, interest or skill, and invest in support to help them. They have a just enough knowledge approach in order to be able to make effective decisions. They look at things that will give them the most output. If you think of Pareto's 80-20 rule, and cut their cloth accordingly. High performers understand the importance of investing in expert support because they understand that the return will more than pay back their investment many, many times over. Hiring someone to guide, mentor and coach you through each stage of launching your business, not to mention your beliefs and mindset, means you can do it so much quicker too. Cut your time in half and then some, because a well-connected and experienced professional will know just what you need to do to get yourself out there in the quickest and most effective way possible. And guess what? You can do it without a logo or a website, I promise. And this is something that I always say because I work a lot with people's strengths, is that high performers are not well-rounded, but high-performing teams are. So how can you begin to solve this one? Well, the first thing to do is play to your strengths. Diving deep into what lights you up, gives you energy and gets you results is crucial when building your business. Every client that works with me one-to-one completes a strengths scope assessment, and this handy report identifies your top strengths and explores how you can maximise their use to achieve more. It's a seriously great way of tapping all that potential. And start by thinking about the tasks that you complete that seem effortless. What do you do that gives you endless amounts of energy and it makes you go into the zone? And if you want to check out more on this, look up the flow concept by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi and try saying that after a few beers. Then identify what that looks like in your business launch. These are the things that you can spend time on, as they will most likely drive the right outputs in the right time frame. Then decide what you do with those other tasks. The second thing that will help you is knowing just enough. Although it's important to spend more time on the things that give you fizz, you can't ignore the things that make you feel flat. If bookkeeping sucks the life out of you, you still can't ignore it, because what would happen then? You need to have an understanding of the jigsaw pieces so that you can make strategic decisions about your business or mentor others to do the same if that's what you're going to do. You do also need to have a handle on what it takes to build a successful business, so knowing just enough is important. Think of it like driving a car. You know how to fill it with petrol, you know how to change gear, park, and accelerate, but you don't need to know the intricacies of how the pistons work in the engine. Knowing just enough will safeguard you from being taken advantage of and will enable you to have a good overall understanding of the nuts and bolts so that something doesn't fall through the net and leave a big gaping hole in your success. And the third thing is invest in a coach. Imagine if there was someone who was able to help you with all of this, to be your business partner, your cheerleader, mentor, and coach throughout the entire process from seed to flower. Someone to ensure you are building solid foundations based on your truth, your values. Someone to ensure that you are considering all of the elements and are playing to your strengths and delegating things that leave you flat. What if this person knew exactly the right way to accelerate your launch? That you were doing what you were meant to do, talking to prospective clients and customers as soon as possible. Someone so well connected that you would be placed right in front of your ideal client straight away. Someone who has your back and invests everything they have into your success. A business coach does all of this. Shines up the mirror to enable you to become aware of the things you excel at and the things that are holding you back, to provide a springboard for you to jump from, to kickstart your business with all the pieces in place at once, to hold you accountable to ensure you're pushing yourself to achieve your goals, to provide wisdom, empathy, and challenge, to have your back no matter what, who makes you feel it's all about you and your success. It sounds pretty amazing, right? Well, if you're just starting on a journey and don't want to make these mistakes above, give us a call. Let's have a chat. We can explore it all and I can help you get off to the right start. A start that will spell success because we are better together.